We are back. I'm back, actually. I missed last week, Bill. Sorry about that. I had a last minute cancel on you. I left you high and dry. I'm sorry.
Nope, no call, no show. Didn't get a hold of John till last night. All week, I don't know what he's been doing, fooling around.
Wait, is that true? Did we not talk the whole week?
No, correct. But
wow,
it's all right. That's okay.
Wow, my bad.
Things happen. Things happen.
Yeah, sometimes life happens.
Yeah. So I just John, you don't know it yet. I just put up a tweet. So the Wynn has formally gave out their proposal in New York City for a $12 billion casino. 12 billion with a B. So you could see, no, it's sick. The artist it's a sick rendering of what's going on in New York there. I don't know if it's going to be as beautiful as they show here, but it is on. That's what they released to all the media sites. So
and 12 billion. Let's put that into perspective. Like Circa was what, 2 billion?
Yeah. Yes, less than
like
that.
Most of these casinos in Vegas are 2 billion.
Big Resorts World was 4 billion. Yeah.
Okay, 4 billion. Nothing north of 5 billion in Vegas.
12
this is
billion.
12 billion. Is that because New York is so expensive?
I probably have my reasons. Listen, there's a lot of shakedowns going on there, but for lack of a better word, I mean, it's not like organized crime shakedown. Shakedown by the fees and licensing, and they're charging 50% tax on sports betting win, but they're the sports betting capital of the world. People don't realize that. People think the sports betting capital of the world is Nevada, still Las Vegas. No way. Matter of fact, we may be fourth. How about that? You have New York, which is double anyone else. Then you may have either every month it toggles between New Jersey and, believe it or not, Illinois. You think about these cities, Chicago, New York, New Jersey. There's so many different. It's that gambling lifeblood. It's instilled inside of us, a rite of passage since we're little kids. I always like to say that. So, and it shows. Nevada's number 4 normally on that list. So, but what I put here is the Big Apple will be changing their slogan to the broke apple, because let me just tell you, they're breaking everybody. They're breaking housewives, kids. And I say kids gamble. I don't care who says what. I'm gambling since I'm in my single digits. We gamble. That's just what happens. You know, your parents are around it. You're around it. Fun games, neon lights on your phone. What do you think's going to happen? The kids are going to pick up gambling from a young age. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, Big Apple.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. I always said that about John. Your father doesn't gamble. That's amazing. He doesn't gamble at all. When he was younger, he had to gamble. He was a party guy. He had to gamble a little.
I don't think so. It was never
really.
And but he blames himself for my gambling off because of Keno tickets.
And the
Riviera coffee shop.
The coffee shop. People don't know what you're talking about. Well, there is still maybe one or two, but every coffee shop, and for anyone listening out there, we're not talking about Starbucks. We're talking about a restaurant, which was every casino had a coffee shop where you get breakfast and lunch, and they even had dinner, some of them.
24 hours. Yeah.
24-hour place. And they had, every table had crayons with, the Keno tickets in the middle. And the Keno girl used to run around. Keno. Of course, it wasn't out there that it was a 25 to 30 to 40% house game. The worst house game there is, 25% against you.
Yeah.
So in order to keep you quiet as a kid, what would your father do? Like my father would do. Here, fill out a couple of numbers, watch the board, thinking it's harmless. And next thing you know, you're lying to everyone, gambling at midnight at the street crap games and at the after hour joints in Manhattan. I'm dead serious. That's exactly what it was growing up. I grew up with literally, I would go, I never talked about this on any show, I don't think. I think I talked about, I used to go to a poker game with a lot of Jewish guys in Brooklyn. It was right over the bridge. It was like 7th Avenue. It was like by a Petlands Discounts. I know it was like right above the Petlands Discounts. It was like 3 guys like me, and it was old Jewish guys. I didn't even know they gambled. I thought they're highly religious, but they used to call me William. William, up to you, raise. And I like to say that poker was one of the original things that I did in the 90s and late 80s. That was late 80s, actually, early 90s. There was underground games all over Manhattan. There was poker games, but what I'm talking about is the underground crap games, and which is a little bit before me actually though. The underground games that I did play at the feast. It was the feast of Saint Anne, the feast of the Mulberry Street feast, actually, the big feast, the San Gennaro feast. They had the church in the church grounds there. They had illegal gambling going on.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they give half the money to the church, and I don't want to say who the other half went to, but yeah. So that happened. But yeah, no, there was all that stuff, and it leads to that, John. I was just talking about this on the show the other day, that like my parents, they didn't know my mother was Italian. All the Italians in the Bronx, they all gambled. It was that rite of passage. So when the kids went to bed, Thanksgiving and Christmas, not Christmas really, Christmas Eve was special, but Thanksgiving and any holiday, New Year's, anything, they gambled. The girls played continental, gin, canasta, whatever, and the men played pinochle. So I know that was one of the guys. Nothing was ever cut through. They were playing for pennies or dollars. Or the men got a little bit. The men got a little crazier though. The men played their own pinochle. My uncles, my Italian uncles corrupted my father, hardworking, blue collar, basically farm country from West Virginia and the Ohio River. My dad grew up right on the Ohio River, actually, Chester, Pomeroy, Ohio, by Gallipolis, Marietta. There's the Athens, Ohio University, 45 minutes away. But my dad really didn't gamble, even in the Navy and stuff. He really didn't gamble that much. And it's funny, John, I never told you this. So my dad's on his way to Vietnam, which the Navy, I guess, was involved somehow. I should know my Navy history. And the ship he was on, the part of the ship he was on blew up. And my dad was blind in one eye. Yeah. It's
really?
Yeah, my dad was, but he wore glasses, and he was highly intellectual. My father was the school raised. His parents were, they raised him very, very educationally. He pushed education. Unfortunately, I didn't listen. I shouldn't say unfortunately, because like I said in the past, it was tough when you grow up on the East Coast like that. You just want to make fast money. You don't want to do college. Come on. Not that we even had the money for college, but my dad was very smart. He always said that American kids, he was an American history major. He knew so many things. Very smart guy. But yet my father wound up being in the car business. He was a finance manager, and he could build things. His father was a carpenter, electrician, plumbing. They can build. Him and my grandfather could build a house from the bottom straight up. I mean, everything from electrician, plumbing. My grandfather helped his father, who was also obviously worked with his hands in the clay banks in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. They built two houses, which both houses still stand, over 100 years old, on Crows Mill Road. Every once in a while, I go up there because I used to Easter egg hunt up there when I was a little kid. So I would go up there and just stop and sit in front of their houses that I knew my great grandfather and my grandfather built from the bottom up. When he told that great story of the 1918 influenza, when he was 8 years old, that took his brothers, sisters, and his dad. Only 2 kids survived the Spanish flu. He was one of 9. He was 2 of 9. Him and his sister, 2 of 9 survived. Took his father and everything. So I sit there out in front of that house once in a while, John, and just think of what my grandfather said. The ground was too frozen. It was February. They had to stack the bodies with the rest of the Hungarian. The whole block was Hungarian. The rest of the Hungarian kids, it affected kids. But I don't want to get into all that. But I talked about it already on the show. My grandfather didn't really gamble too much, but once in a while, he would do the scratch-offs. He would sneak to it. My grandfather was a hard worker, worked hard for his money, went on vacation every year for a month. Used to take you with him. He drove all the country. And he used to play the scratch-offs once in a while. Of course, they didn't know either, but he maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. Big sucker bets, though. The scratch-offs, the lottery. All the lotteries, the people have lotteries in this country. You have a pick 3 and a pick 4. My father played too. So you could pick 3 numbers from 000 to 999. So there's 1,000 to 1 shot, yet they take 50% out of the pool and only pay at 500 to 1. And I'll just tell you right now, that is probably the worst odds of anything I know gambling wise is the state lottery. Those games, the pick 3 and pick 4s, real sucker bets, closet gambling. It's terrible. And I know people that have boxes and shoe boxes and things full of those lottery tickets, and I keep them so I can write them off in case I do win something. You're in the commercials on TV. All it takes is $1 in a dream, and it's so bad. But we didn't know we were kids. No one told us the odds on this stuff.
Right. But do you think it would have mattered to most?
No, probably not. You want to know why? It's the only game in town.
Yeah,
it's the only game in town. You go to the racetrack and take 25%. Go to Yonkers down the street from where I was. You only take 25%. So you had to have some kind of action, I guess. And old time guy I used to know in Philly, he said, "You're in action every day." I think I said this on there. "You're in action every day, Billy. Do you know what kind of a life that is? It's a dream for us guys in South Philly." And they're in action every day too, whether it's hustling pretzels or doing one thing or another. It's just it's action. So but speaking of bad bets, because that is a bad bet, the lottery. I don't know if you know about this. So I seen this on Jacob Orth, who's a buddy of mine. Jacob does a good podcast here in town. I actually we're going to put this up in the background too. So John, have you noticed? You've seen the 000s on Roulette, right? 000.
Yeah.
Every single casino has
so
that.
Crazy.
They all took the 000 away, and you know what they did? They put the slogan of the casino now. So now it's not a 000 no more. You guys get this is actually either the Caesars logo or the MGM logo.
And does that pay any extra, or still just 35 to 1?
Of course not. It's just it almost looks like, oh, welcome to our casino, and this is the top.
It's so crazy.
Now they even want to treat you guys like idiots even more now than they were treating you before, all these casinos. So yeah, that kind of.
Don't you think if they made that 50 to 1, that they would actually make more money long term for people, just the true degenerates trying to go for the big score? Let me just load up sooner or later. It's got to hit sooner or later.
My good boy, John. Guys, we got to load John out there. If it was 50 to 1, John, that's all I'd play. There's only 37, now there's 38 notches on the wheel. 50 to 1, they go broke. They close the doors. The lights will be out.
But would they? Because sometimes it may go 80 spins without hitting.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Wait, no.
I'm
come
sorry.
On. Wait,
I'm sorry,
walk me
everybody.
through. It's like hitting the jackpot. It's never going to hit.
John.
It's going to hit. It's going to hit.
John, you can't pay 50 to 1 if there's 38 different combinations.
But I get it.
39? I don't even play roulette. Is it 39? So I think it's 30. 36.
Well, with that,
right?
there's 38.
John, how many numbers? How
many
numbers?
39. You're right. 39 with triples. There's 39.
Triples are 39. So you can't pay 50 to 1 on the 39.
Okay, so can they just pay 40 to 1?
But no,
just perceive the value. But
I would give up sports betting probably. I mean, no.
But would you? No. Come on,
John,
you're still trying to hit.
John, you can't pay 40 to 1 on something that is only 39 outcomes. No, it's in your favor. But they could pay, 38
it's in your
to 1.
favor.
It's a good point.
They could pay what?
They could pay 38 to 1, make it a little fun.
Okay, fine. Right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It's like they're still going to come out ahead.
Robert, we might want to cut that.
Wait, no, I disagree with you.
John.
Wait, no, I disagree with you. Even if you put that at 41, I still say the casino wins long term. Because the average person is just coming is not.
But
you.
this is why people like this podcast. I got to tell you, I love that about John. He really is. That's good because John, people don't know. Well, some people. People don't know. So anyway, listen, the casinos are robbing people here. They went from 5.26 to almost 9% here on this already, and now they just want to insult people and put the logo there instead. So hey John, you know what came out?
What?
Hold on a minute. I want to tell you what came out. So the NFL.com came out with this detail on 2024 NFL gambling policy. The 6 main rules for our NFL players. So they came out with these things. The 6 main rules. Never bet on an NFL game. That includes draft, combine, Pro Bowl. Don't have someone bet for you. Do not ask family, friends, or others to place a bet. Don't gamble at your team's facility while traveling to a road game or staying home on a home game. Don't share inside information. Don't share information that hasn't been announced by the team. Don't enter a sportsbook during the NFL season. Don't play fantasy football. And there's even more.
Whoa, don't enter a sportsbook during the NFL season?
During the NFL season, don't enter a sportsbook. Honestly, why not just say don't enter a sportsbook ever then, I guess. I mean, during the NFL season, you can't.
Wait a minute.
I mean,
wait a minute.
Right off NFL.
Okay, so you're playing you're the Carolina Panthers, you're playing the Raiders in Vegas.
Yeah.
And
this was a big fear, by the way, for everyone coming to Vegas.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So it's October, and so baseball playoffs are happening, and some of the guys from the team on the football team love baseball, and they're like, hey, let's go watch the playoffs at the Wynn Sportsbook. They can't do that?
No way. I think you meant harmlessly, like walk by it. No, you can't enter the sportsbook according to NFL.com. No.
I think that's crazy.
It's absolutely. But you want to know something, Jon, too? These are kids. These are kids.
Then if that's the case, they shouldn't be allowed to enter a bar. Yeah, aren't we worried more about drinking and driving than gambling?
They should be, but there's reasons why it's gambling, and they're afraid that they're going to be fixing themselves and not playing.
Right. No, I get it. I get it.
But, these guys are half our age, and these are kids, man. These are young minds, 21, 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
You want to say all this, but yet you put them inside of a stadium every Sunday playing with DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, all these different sportsbook all around them.
They'll take the money, no problem.
The NFL, they're in revenue shares. Let's call them revenue shares with the sports books, but yet do as I say, not as I do. It's such a fine line you cross. But I understand that. I don't want my guys on my team or against me, betting and letting up or, listen. You have enough problems where everyone's saying the word fix in the sports books anyway, and these incidences come on like that happened in the NBA with a player, Rudest career. Or you have, years ago, the rest, that was so many years ago when it happened in the NBA.
Donahue.
But you have Donahue. You have these situations that happen and they put a black eye and people want to never blame themselves for losing the bet. So they have to blame somebody.
Bill, along those lines, I texted you about it last night. You've got to watch Sign Stealer on Netflix. YouTube producer Rob, you guys got to watch this, and we need to talk about it on the show next week. It's unbelievable about this guy.
Give us just a synopsis without going into and giving away any of the.
This guy that used to be in the military is a super brainiac, and he is able to watch video of any sidelines, watching the coaches give the signs, the play calling, whatever, and he can literally figure out what play they're running. He built up this whole database, and he was great at it. And University of Michigan hired him. This is last year.
Why are they talking about this? Why is anyone talking about this?
I never heard of it. I don't think anyone. Well, apparently it was a big story with college football, which is probably why you never heard it. But this was like a big story last year, apparently, and there was a documentary, and he speaks in the documentary. It's unbelievable. You got to check it out.
I just Googled it. Sign Stealer.
Sign Stealer, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, his name is what was his name? Connor. He had a funny name, and I already forgot it. Connor
McGregor.
What is it?
Connor Stallions.
Connor Stallions, yeah. Unbelievable documentary. Did you watch it yet, Rob?
No, I have not.
Yeah, you guys check it out. You guys both need to check that out. Bill, I have an NFL question for you.
Wow.
My friend Jeff is a diehard Broncos fan. You actually met him years ago at the Hard Rock when me and Jake were hanging out with you at the Super Bowl. He's a huge Broncos fan, and he just texted me today. He wants to know, what is the win total prop for the Broncos? Because, they got that quarterback. They got Bo Nix, and he's real – well, you're laughing. He's real high on Bo Nix. Can Bo Nix take the Broncos to the promised land? And do you like them? What's the line on that?
My thing is right now, I really probably won't be betting unless a key player comes out at this time. These lines have been up since May. Even week one, NFL and college, these lines have been up literally since May. So it's tough to and plus Bo Nix, they just seen him in preseason. Preseason means nothing, by the way, but people are using that as a benchmark to measure people by. Let me give you your Broncos. What he wants to know.
Yeah, give me the Broncos. I'm actually going to text him in real time right here. I'm going to tell him what it is.
Yeah, 6.5 under 160, and I would lean to the under probably, just because I may.
Wait, you think they're going to win less than 7 games?
Here's the reason why I'm saying this.
And what's the line on it?
6.5 wins under 160. You could take 140 on the over. If he likes him to win 7 games or more, you could take $1.40 for every 100 he bets. He gets back 140. Now, I'm not betting against them, but I'm just saying everyone's talking Bo Nix. He's one of the hot names now on these preseason games this year right now. And as one of the quarterbacks, everyone talking about him, talking about the team, and I'm not against him. But,
meaning it's minus 160
on the under. If you're laying on the under, if you're saying they're not going to win 7 games, so just tell him over 6.5 games plus 140, 100 to win 140. Like I said, it's just it's situational here. Bo Nix, it's everything you read here is Bo. I just googled Denver Broncos just to see if that's still the case. Sure enough. I mean, you're not going to. He's been named the starting quarterback. I knew that already.
I just texted him, and he texted me back. He said it was 5.5.
Well, this is like almost what I'm saying now. It went up because the public has pushed.
They're jumping on the Bo Nix train.
Yeah, they're jumping on the Bo Nix train. So even though you have to lay $1.60, one win is a giant move for an NFL team on a season win. So it's hard to bet any games right now after these lines. The NFL lines have been up literally since May at some of the sports. June, almost all the major ones had them up. Hey, John, before I get into the rudest cities in America, speaking of sportsbooks, I told our producer, Robert, so we're going to be having a sponsor starting next week. I talked about him this week, though. I told him I was going to throw out there a plug because they have a sign-up bonus going on. So, by the way, it's called Heritage Sportsbook. And Heritage has been around so long that I think back in, I want to say the late 90s, I was playing with Heritage. Like Heritage has been around since like
I've
96.
heard of them. Yeah, for sure.
It's sportsbook.eu. And it's been around a long time. I literally was playing with them back then when I lived in New Jersey because they had great sign-up bonuses and great reduced juice. So sure enough, they're still doing that reduced juice. And, the guy told me all the stuff going on there, reduced juice and cash back. 108 doesn't sound like a lot. You lay 108 instead of 110. But laying 108 on so many games and you lose a game, lose another game. You're betting, 10 games a week. You're going to lose 5 of them, let's say. You're even if you bet $100, you're saving $10 in juice instead of paying 110 each way. You're playing 108. However, they give you up to 0.8. A lot of 8s involved here. Up to 0.8 cash back on your pre-match wagers, and that's paid quarterly. So every quarter you get that. They have a promotion going right now where you can get out of your bet at a halftime. So they'll pick one game a month, which actually that's unbelievable. They'll pick one game a month, and you can cancel your bet if you don't like it at halftime, up to $250. And the first one's Friday, Florida Atlantic, Michigan State. So if you want to get out of it, you can get out of your bet at the half. That's $250. Yeah, I'm losing 28-0. Let me get out of that one. And you get your money back. So here's the big thing for August. That's why I told us, let me plug it this week. 100% bonus on your first deposit, a free bet. So if you deposit $500, you get a $500 free bet. That's just for August. So tons of props, great in-game offerings. Like I said, I was playing with them in 96. They've been open since like 94. So even before me. So anyway, it's a Heritage Sports. That'll be our new sponsor. We'll have the logo up there. HeritageSports.eu and solid sportsbook. How many sportsbooks that I could have talked to that I just don't know their background, and I have to make sure that they're going to be solid because listen, there's definitely no one you know, but there's no one probably people know out there that has been screwed for money more by sportsbooks, betting, and far off places than me. I used to always, that's what I did in the 90s. I bet sportsbooks in the late 90s, early 2000s. I didn't have a Las Vegas here. I lived in New Jersey back then. We didn't have legalized places to bet. So, which, by the way, I have to give my places down credit. I just destroyed preseason. And I thank you to the Wynn, Westgate, Circa, and South Point. I mean, listen, they really did right by me. I'll just tell you, it destroyed some places. John,
let me give you some props along those lines. Our mutual friend that I introduced you to a while back. I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah.
Did I say his name? Don't say his name. He knows who he is. No. He sent me a text. This was on Sunday.
Yeah.
Last Sunday. And he said, Crack went 6-0 yesterday. The guy is a machine.
No, I did sound. Yeah. I mean, but I went 0-2 on Sunday, just to let you know. But I did go 6-0 on Saturday with the games I gave him. He's over there across the country where I can actually send him some games that we don't have here. I don't have access to DraftKings and FanDuel here too. So and even the week before that, I think I won 8 units. I was 13-4 to giving out the Crack wins, guys. But you know what? If you're in a certain destination or market where, God, I can pick on DraftKings or some of the sports books that are there, by God, if I had access to like 365 places that throw me out or limit me to nothing on Bet 365, I made a bet with them and they limited me to peanuts now. But yeah, there's some.
What's peanuts out of curiosity? What's peanuts?
$20, 10 grocery dollars, $20.
Wait, stop. They literally limit you to $20?
John, I was limited this morning, and I'm actually going to be emailing someone about this. I was limited this morning to $20 with a sports book here. $20.
Come on, here in Vegas.
I took a picture on my phone. I was like, guys, I just bet. Now I won $2,000 betting $1,000 a game over the week this week, but I just don't get it. Like I haven't withdrew. I put 5,000 in this spot. Haven't withdrew anything, and I have it up to 11. By the way, that's over like months and months. I just like it's over like 30 or maybe more, 40 bets. So to be limited to $20.59. God, I just bothers me. So anyway, same thing with those other sports books there. I wasn't planning on even showing.
And why the 59 cents? A computer is coming up with this number based on whatever, and that's the number that it spits out.
No, it is. Hey, John, want to laugh? So I got this new show. I've been just, oh my God. I've already been asked to do so many different shows. I just had to turn one of my Fox affiliates down because they wanted me to do a morning drive show at 7 a.m. their time. I'm like, it's 4 a.m. here. Like I can't get up 4 a.m. to do a sports show, a 15-minute hit. If you want me to do drive time traffic at 9, at 6, I get up 6 on Fridays, and the Monday I'm up at early 5:30 because a lot of stuff's moving. But one of the shows I'm going to be doing, I'm going to make you laugh. Look at this new one there, John. Look at the video. Look at the picture they put up of me. Corn Flakes and Crack. That's the one of the new. It's Monday morning. I'm doing a show called Corn Flakes and Crack with a Boston buddy of mine up on his network. John, I wanted to go to the rudest cities in America.
Okay. Rudest cities.
I didn't think I thought it would be like, I don't want to pick on any cities, but let's do it all together. Back east. When I go to those big back east cities or maybe LA or something, like some, I don't know, the bigger
Don't
cities
say here. No way.
This is ready. Drum roll, please. Philadelphia, New York City, Las Vegas.
Really?
Yes. Las Vegas, then Boston, Detroit, San Fran, Washington, LA, Houston. Houston. I can't think of
I'm going to disagree with this.
It's a big.
How are they coming up with this?
No, it's a big survey. It's a survey among over 300,000 people. Someone said, now there's responses to it. This is interesting. This person says, I agree. Extremely rude people in Las Vegas, mainly the locals, the rage, the selfishness, the anger, road rage, impatience, parking lot rage, grocery store rage. I guess I don't really go to grocery store. It's appalling. They're miserable and angry. It's pretty obvious.
I feel the opposite.
I'm a little oblivious to it, but I will tell you, the locals, I know that if you go, listen, John, you go into like any of these local casinos, any of the stations, I'll use the ones on Boulder Highway or even the Orleans, the maybe the Palms, the Gold Coast, any local casinos. Go there the first week of the month. Boy, you could see the smoking, the shaking, the Keno, and you could see that there's a lot of they're victims, the poor people. They're victims. I know we all make our own decisions, but I kind of feel bad what I see in a lot of these local casinos, and I'm always trying to help people and try, but you can't curb people. You can't curb their appetite. I think about when we were kids. Like I said, my mom and dad, growing up in the Bronx, you got to smoke. My mother smoked since she's 13 years old. Even though she stopped 10 years before she passed, it was the cool thing to do. Look at Johnny Carson. Turn on Johnny Carson. You see Sinatra, Dean Martin, they're all smoking on there. Rodney Dangerfield, they're all smoking on there. It was just fashionable, So you think about the vices back then, and I think about what was to do back then. Back in Kingsburg in the late 70s, before the casinos were even open, you gambled on the wheels of chance. You tried to win merchandise. You tried to gamble for candy and toys, statues, and they had cigarette wheels. Yes, try to win cigarettes. I remember that. Almost every boardwalk had a cigarette wheel. You try to win cigarettes. And that's before Atlantic City. And what did our parents do? Well, your parents are different. I'm not saying you grew up in entertainment, but my parents bowled. Bowling was a big thing. And I had a bowl. I bowled when I was a kid. I bowled, a little bit, but there was really nothing to do except for gambling and then, like I said, action and TV. So it's a different time. I put up some of my casino pet peeves, my pet peeves on Twitter this week. You guys want to check that out?
Can we go through some of them or no?
Yeah. The first one was that if you gamble in a casino, you're entitled to a casino host. People don't realize that. They go to the kiosk. We've talked about that on the show before. People just go to the kiosk and gamble. And gamble and just leave and say, "Oh, that's what I'm entitled to." No, go see a casino host. Go to the casino host desk. Slip your casino host a couple bucks, maybe not cash, maybe an envelope or something. That goes a long way. Number two was the cage personnel is the same as the slot club now. So now you doubled their jobs here. The people at the cage are now doing the job they got rid of that department, just like they got rid of the hard counts at the casino, the guys that carry the coins, they got rid of them. And now they have, tickets in, tickets out, and they say there's a coin shortage. Yeah, okay. Tell me another one. So now that's a thing I don't care for, because I feel the people are double worked, and sometimes they can make mistakes, and it's a harder job for them. And I stick up as much as I go after casinos. I'll stick up for the employees, but I'll say good things about casinos too. I'm very fair. I think I'm very fair.
Agree.
I'm a little tough, but I'm pretty fair. I go after stations for throwing me out of the sports book and not allowing me to play. But I like their restaurant shows and their casinos themselves. I think they're nice. And I think they offer some good gambles sometimes on progressive video poker and slot machines. My other pet peeve was having a floor person or a pit boss, they call it, sit on the game, or shake their, they got their hands crossed, which is a negative, condescending tone. They're mad at the world. A lot of casino personnel, I talk good about them, but I can talk bad about them too. They're pissed off you're winning. They wish it was them, because most of them gamble themselves, and they don't want winners on their shift. I'm not talking about the dealers. Dealers make tips. It's different. I'm talking about the suits, the antiques, as I called them in that video. A lot of them shouldn't even have these jobs. Their jobs, they treat everyone like a sucker. They just think you're a sucker and think you should lose. So if there's a hot roll at the crap table, it's not unlikely for someone to come. They don't have box people no more. Every casino used to have a box person that sits down and watches the game, and a floor person, and a pit boss. One per table, by the way. One floor person, one box. Now it's just a floating person. Well, they'll sit box, and they'll think their juju is, getting the 7. Come on, get a roll. Get the dice out. Just no more bets. Late bet, no more bet. Push this bet up. It's just listen. I know that something mentally can't influence a physical act. I understand that, but we're all superstitious. We don't want no negative guys sitting down at the game. We don't want no guys sitting down saying, "Get the dice out. Don't let them do." And,
right.
Dealers are working on tips. We're making a few bucks. In the end, we all give it back anyway. Give me a break. Retire. retire. Get out of the business. Go ahead. Get out of the business. That's what I feel.
Let me ask you, when they change the cards at a blackjack game, is that on a set schedule or do they sometimes call for it? It is on a set schedule?
Yeah. Set schedule.
Always.
The chain. Yeah, it's on a set schedule. However,
it always seems to come when you're hot.
If they think there's a crimp, which for lack of a better word is if someone gets
like a marked card.
Yeah, if you get a card, let's say this is a card. If you get a card and you're crimping it, they're gonna love me. And they maybe mark an ace with their fingernail or do something, or they think they are, or they're crimping or it's there's a little imprint as you see there on a card. They'll immediately change those cards right away too. So but it is on a set schedule. They're not doing it just to mess with your winning or anything. It's every so often. But on a hand dealt game where you're touching the cards, that may be different. So good. Well, John, I think we covered everything. Really, I had some notes. This was a pretty informative podcast here. What do you got?
One last thing from me. Let's just do a Kansas City Royals watch.
Are you in first place in one set today? No.
They came in tied for first today because they're playing the Guardians, or as I like to call them, the Indians, which is who they are. They're playing them, but they lost today as we record this show, so they're back to one game out of first. But the Royals are hot.
So you got a good shot. Yeah. Hey, John, did you see that animal at the Palms buffet get the 20 lobsters? Yeah, it was unbelievable. This guy, what he did. He's an absolute animal. I mean, really, he wants to be a social influencer. Let me just put a search in for lobster buffet and see if this guy comes. He has.
By the way, you know that to go to that buffet, you need a reservation now. Did you know this?
Yeah.
You can't just walk into that buffet.
Really?
You have to have a reservation.
Yeah, John. Look at that.
Thank you very much. Oh well. Can I have more lobster or not?
You can have more lobster once you've completed these, sir.
I have to eat all this first. To be clear, the rules are that I have to finish a plate before I go back to the buffet.
For the lobsters, yes.
I mean, what an animal. An absolute animal looking to get, plugs.
Yeah.
This guy starts yelling at him.
Talking to you?
Sir, will you just please?
I mean, look, you have security coming over. Look at him.
I mean, it's a little silly.
Nah, well,
Come
silly.
on.
Look what he does here.
Put y'all on to the good spots,
Look at him. And then he starts throwing them away at the end. Absolute animal. Everyone that sees him should embarrass him. And maybe a little bit worse.
What people do for looks, likes, and comments at this point is just out of control, man. That's crazy.
All right, I'm gone. We'll see you guys next week. Wise Kracks, thanks for joining us. Don't forget heritage.eu. That's 6 specials they got going right now.
I like it.